next up is a movie called Wish You Were Here. It's the directing debut of Julia Stiles. Are you a fan of Julia Stiles, Eric Holmes, over the years? She was in Orphan 2. What is it? Save the Last Dance. I mean, do you know Julia Stiles' work a little bit?
I like Julia Stiles in general. I don't like the orphan movies, but that's has nothing to do with her. I just don't like the premise. Yeah, just in general, whenever she pops up, she's usually pretty good, especially lately.
Right. I'm on the flip side, I absolutely adore the Orphan movies. Speaking of Orphan and Orphan 2, Julia Stiles reunites with Orphan 2 star Isabelle Fuhrman for Wish You Were Here. Julia Stiles does not act in this movie, rather, she makes her feature directing debut. And the movie here, I'm going to read right now from my iPad the actual plot line, and then we're going to see what we're going to want to say after that. Okay. It's a romantic film based on a best-selling novel, Wish You Were Here. Okay. It stars Isabelle Fuhrman, Mena Massoud, Jennifer Grey, and Kelsey Grammer. It's a quote, a fascinating movie about leaving the everyday world behind to take a chance on true romance. When the perfect night with a perfect stranger, and suddenly the next morning, Charlotte searches for answers and meaning in her disappointing life until she uncovers a secret that changes everything. Eric Holmes, that is a very vague plot summary. What can we really talk about with which you were here? And I'm going to frame this in two ways, Eric. If you have never seen the trailer for Wish You Were Here or read the book, to not know what we may divulge in the coming moments might be better for you as a viewer. That said, they showed what happened in the trailer, dude. You know what goes on in the trailer. So
Yeah,
Eric, I'm gonna let you
it
lead.
also says it on the IMDb.
I'm gonna let you lead on this. Do we? Okay, I just read you a vague plot line. So someone did that vague plot line. Do we go because IMDb and
I
the
would I
trailer
would stick
showed?
with the vague plot line because even though it's out there, the movie kind of plays it because that thing doesn't happen till like almost two-thirds of the way through the movie. So the movie kind of plays it like it's a reveal or an event that happens. So we should probably not say too much about it.
Why would they reveal that stuff, dude? In the trailer and in the thing and
You got to sell the movie somehow. And hey, it's a love story. It's a romantic comedy. And if you're into that, you're gonna go for it. If you're not, you're not. So you need that extra hook, I guess, to pull in people that wouldn't otherwise watch it. Maybe.
so ultimately, yeah. Let's just backtrack again. Charlotte is played by Isabelle Fuhrman. She works at a Mexican restaurant with her best friend. They live together. Charlotte is a little bit directionless and aimless in her life, and understandable. She does not like her job as a waitress server at that restaurant because the supervisor, the boss, the manager is pretty much a DICK. He's a jerk, okay?
A
But
Richard.
he's a Richard. He's a total Richard. So she's working in the Mexican restaurant. The only fun she has is with her best friend and when they're hanging out. One night, they bump into a stranger played by Mena Massoud, and he's very good at this. And this mysterious stranger, he's also a muralist, and he catches Charlotte's eye immediately. That's sort of a meet cute. And what happens is, as fates would have it, this meet cute turns into pretty much the night of their lives. Because the stranger, again played by Mena Massoud, and Charlotte, played by Isabelle Fuhrman, they just really bond over a memorable evening. One of the things they do is, well, the muralist, the stranger, he starts doing a mural on the side of a building, a brick building, and it's really beautiful and it encapsulates sort of their night together. The problem is the next day they have sort of a falling out and it becomes a one night stand supposedly, and the stranger sort of dismisses her, not in a mean way, but in a sort of a cold, detached way. And Charlotte,
Kind of a mean way.
okay, fair, fair, okay,
I
then
mean, he basically just comes up, "You're not my girlfriend," you know? Like he was being really confrontational towards her.
okay, whatever, Eric. I've said that to every single girl in my
I'm,
life.
I'm,
Okay,
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Eric. Okay, so you're a good point. That I defer to your judgment. You're actually right. I stand corrected, or in this case, I sit corrected. So what happens is Charlotte is a little bit heartbroken because a memorable night turns into something bad in the morning. The morning after is not so good for Charlotte, and not so good for the stranger. Ultimately, he ends up ghosting her, and she moves on with her life. And Eric was saying the reveal doesn't happen until two-thirds. I'm thinking maybe he says two-thirds is 66%. I'm thinking 57 or 56%. So I'm just splitting hairs. So it happens further into the reveal. And what's weird is, listeners, if you have no idea what Wish You Were Here is about, I'm going to defer to Eric and as far as the real movie review, but I knew everything that was going to happen, and I still ended up enjoying this movie because it was I thought the performances with the chemistry and the performances of Mina and Isabel were excellent. They are the heart of the movie. I really love what this movie had to say. When we get to that third act, when you really deal with their relationship, their connection, I was locked in. That is the strongest part of the movie. The supporting characters I was fine with. It's something that you'd see in a usual romantic drama rom-com. It was kind of rote for me. I've seen these characters a million times before, but what stood out for me in this movie was the performances of Mena Massoud, Isabelle Fuhrman, and as a director, I think Julia Stiles has a lot of potential. She made a really solid romantic. It's not a comedy, romantic drama with Wish You Were Here, and also this movie could be a very weepy, saccharine film, and she makes it. I don't know if Eric agrees with me on this. It's not as sappy as it could have been, which is, I think, a good thing. Eric, your thoughts on Wish You Were Here? I think you might be disagreeing with me with your look. I'm going to start coughing
Uh,
up a fit, so go ahead, do your Ulysses review of this movie.
well, first of all, I kind of disagree on the last third because I actually like the first two thirds better. And then once the reveal happened, as the movie went on, I slowly started checking out. Just because of that, it was a little too sappy. And look, I get in moods where like throw me all the sap, I'll take it all. I just wasn't in the mood for it this time. And I think there's better versions of this kind of story, but everything leading up to that, I really enjoyed a lot. It was just, yeah. I can't say about the last third because that would be a spoiler, which, I mean, the movie, the marketing itself spoils it, but we're not going to do that here. But even though, like, I was a little too sappy, kind of starting to check out. All that said, I still enjoyed it. Like the first two thirds was strong enough for me that I just kind of got over that last hump.
That's tough though, because the third act is supposed to bring everything home with that knockout punch. So you did not get that knockout punch. It's a.
No,
I'm wondering if you would even recommend this movie because the third act was subpar to the rest of the movie for you.
I would because it's one of those kind of it's one of those kind of movies like romantic drama, love story or whatever. It does that pretty well. And if you're into that kind of movie, this is a good version of it. It's just the third act didn't quite land the way I think they wanted it to land. But that might be a me thing, not a someone else that's into this kind of movie. Maybe they eat it up. And then if you do, good on you.
Yeah, no, I was fine with Isabelle Fuhrman and Mena Massoud. I mean, not that you weren't fine with them, but I really enjoyed their performances. They were the heart and soul of the movie, like I said. But ultimately, this movie is, I've seen a lot of movies like this, but I think it's because of those two actors and what this movie had to say towards the end. You and I are completely flipped out on this. We might, who knows? It'd be funny if we both gave it the same rating because I'm all about the last third and maybe the opening moments. You're about two-thirds. Okay, so it's interesting. So final rating, I mean review and rating for you. Final comments and rating for you, Eric, on Wish You Were
Yeah,
Here.
it's a really good love story. Kind of falls off in the last third, but according to Greg, it gets better in the last third. So
Yeah.
this might be like a watch it for yourself and see where you fall on that. But otherwise, I enjoyed watching it. Enjoyed the characters, especially early on. I was kind of like, what the hell is going on? So there was like that little bit of mystery to it. Give it 3.5.
Okay, 3.5 stars. What am I giving this? What am I giving Wish You Were Here, Eric Holmes?
4 stars.
I'm giving it 3.5 stars, exactly like Eric
Oh
Holmes
damn.
said. 3.5 stars for Wish You Were Here.
Every
I
time you
mean,
set me up for that, I'm like, oh, he's doing the 4 star Greg thing. And
no, three.
every time I say 4 stars, you come at me with something that's not that.
I think the good news is we both gave it 3.5 stars, which is a solid recommend for Wish You Were Here. And dear listener, we both like different parts of the movie. So you might like it way more than both of us. So tell us what you think. Hit us up in theaters January 17th. Again, how did you think Julia Stiles did as a director? And I'm going to cough again.
I think she did pretty good. And I mean, she's been in movies forever. So like not just Julia Stiles, but anyone that's been working in movies long enough, you figure they would just through osmosis, they would pick up a couple of things. So it doesn't surprise me too much that she did as well as she did in this.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. For more movie and television reviews and interviews, please subscribe to my Deepest Dream channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, thanks so much for your support. Take care.